What's up, it's Ivaldi Sako. Welcome to the show. Today we'll talk about whatever you saw in the title of this podcast, of course. And I also got a gift for you. And we'll talk about those specific things. The extremely productive tool that I used this week that I will also give to you and will also give you peace of mind and bring extreme clarity to you, which is great to have. Honestly, it feels amazing. And it will also help you keep yourself accountable to yourself automatically. Pretty great tool and easy to use. I think I'll give that to you at the end. And we'll also talk about how to do the impossible, and more precisely how to become a high performer and be extremely driven. We'll talk about these 5 steps to always be driven and extremely intrinsically motivated to actually achieve pretty much anything. This will give you an insane boost, not in short-term motivation, in real drive, human psychological drive. Great things that I learned this week I think will be very useful to you. So if that interests you, I suggest you stay tuned with us here, listen or watch, listen to me talking to you about what I learned from the book of The Art of Impossible, because I took a lot from that book. Just read 50 to 60 pages of it. Up until now, it's phenomenal. And I already learned insanely useful stuff. And so yeah, if any of that, if you're interested in growing, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to grow, whether it's in your personal life, in your business, you want to get the next level of success, you want to get truly free and successful, that's all I talk about. And becoming more productive, having a better life in general. I just love this stuff. And I love to talk about it. So if you like it too, I suggest you just don't waste a split second and click subscribe right now to not forget and miss the next episodes. And we got some kind of agreement here. If you get some value out of this show, you just share it. You just share it with your friends, your followers. Now that we have an agreement. So if you don't get any value out of this, you don't share the show. But you do, please share it. Help someone else. The reason why I do those videos is just because I'm an entrepreneur trying to grow a great business. I want to document the process, and I want to help as many people as possible along the way on my journey. And I think it's pretty cool for me to look back on, and also for people to learn at the same time that I learned, right? And I make a lot of mistakes. I hope you don't do the same mistakes that I do, because you'll be further ahead than me, right? When you don't do the same mistakes that I do, basically. Yeah. Also, a side note, I'm still a native non-English speaker. English is not my native language, right? Exceptionally. When I do say those things, I start stumbling upon my words, right? Because I start thinking, oh my God, I'm not a great English speaker. So I just start, messing up my words. But bear with me, I think it's still pretty useful because you can understand me up until now. At least I hope so. So, this week I stopped listening to podcasts. I stopped watching videos while I was eating, and I started reading a book instead, because I didn't have the time, right? So I was like, I need to get my 10 pages a day in reading. So I read this book, and believe me, it was really, really useful. Not only because I didn't have this hijacked dopamine in my mind, because I just watched too many YouTube videos, or just even watched one YouTube video and just with so many sensory information, right? I just was more calm and peaceful. And so I learned a bunch this week about being driven. I'm going to tell you all about it. I think it's going to be a pretty short one. So it's going to be useful still, but short, because I don't have much time left. And also I'm in a pretty uninspiring place, to be honest with you, today, because I don't have the time. Anyway, so like I said, I will give you the tool for productivity and planning at the end. I think it's going to be pretty useful, and so that you can stay up until the end. Or maybe there's will be some time steps at the end, or you can find it in the description, I guess. But you'll know how to use when I talk to you about it. Anyway, there was unexpectedness during this week. This week, because basically what I do is I just document actually the week that I just had, right? And I document what I learned during this week. Before starting this podcast, I was like, I have nothing to talk about. Like, this week was like not great. An unexpected call. I had an unexpected call, and it messed up my entire week. I didn't learn much. I didn't read as much as I should have read, and like not much learning, not much to say, right? But I was like, just show up, right? And that's I think a lesson too. You can just show up, and once you show up, because I did that like on a pretty good amount of other podcasts, and it always works. Once I just show up, ideas stopped to come up. Like, I didn't have any idea about what this podcast was going to be about. Then I remembered, like, I got the idea, oh my God, I learned just some really useful stuff in this book. The Art of Impossible by Steven Kotler. I think it's a relatively new one. Don't have the date here. But it's already pretty great and really motivating. Not motivating in the sense of it tells amazing stories and it's amazing. It's just like it tells you about the biology, like how it happens in the brain. Like, I don't know if you can see that if you're listening. Only you can't see that, but like there's a human in a DNA form right on the cover of the book, and it's just like it tells you how it actually works. And so anyone can actually achieve the impossible. Anyone. And the impossible is not necessarily the never been done before. It can be the never been done before for you, for your family. For example, if you were all your life poor, generations before you were poor in your family, something impossible for you, the impossible little I, not capital I, right? He tells you about the difference between do, and it's just like capital I, it's something that never been done before, landing on the moon. And little I is impossible. Little I impossible is your family never has made a lot of money and you become wealthy, right? That's impossible, quote unquote, for you. The odds are really against you, and yet you still do it. And it tells you about a lot of performances of athletes and how they do it, and they would do it repeatedly. And there's an actual formula for it. And I'm going to tell you about the formula right now. So, he tells you that there's a formula for everything. And he tells you about a story that how he really discovered that when he was young. It was like when his little brother, he was 7 years old, his brother 4, he did the magic trick. He saw like, oh my God, this was impossible, now it's possible because I know like my brother is not a magician, right? So I know it's possible. So I know there's a formula behind it, I can do it as well. And so this allowed him to chase things that seemed impossible. And so there's a formula for everything, as he says. And here are the 4 things that you need for high performance, really high performance, to achieve high performance things. 1, motivation. Now, depending on what you saw in the title, maybe I said like motivation is garbage or something like this. There's subtlety in it, right? It's not a motivation like everybody talks about motivation. So 1, motivation. 2, learning. 3, creativity. And 4, flow. The state of flow. And the flow is the state that accelerates and puts oil on the fire. And so it's not burn yourself. You need first to have a great foundation. Because if you don't have this great foundation, you'll burn yourself. You'll hit a wall and you'll go extremely fast with not the proper balance, the proper like set of skills, the proper energy to be able to maintain that and not run in a wall and hurt yourself. And maybe sometimes I think you can't really achieve true flow when you don't have all of the things: motivation, learning, creativity, right? And so at first I'll read to you a little bit from the book. I'll see a little bit where the different parts come from. But here he tells you that I don't know how well you can see. Maybe I just messed up the focus. I have no idea. Sorry if I did that. I hope it's okay. I really can't see anything. Anyway, there's a recipe for drive. And so the recipe is exactly that. Forgive me. What is drive? This is like he calls drive true motivation, right? Motivation is the first part to achieve great things, and we're going to be talking mostly about this because I just read about this. I've read just the 50 to 60 pages of it, and it was tremendously useful. And so motivation to me is like, it's always been like something like very important to me. But what you need is intrinsic motivation, and that's what he calls drive. Like you get some neurobiology, and I'm not going to enter into the details. If you want to learn about the details of how like the neurochemistry of what happens in the brain makes you motivated, you can read the book. Just very, very much worth reading. And drive to achieve motivation, you need certain things. And so there's a stack to have. A stack, which he says that is cultivate, align, and amplify. Amplify and deploy. This is like how you stack. You stack all those things. So you cultivate them, you align them, you amplify, and you deploy them. All those 5 things. Curiosity, passion, purpose, autonomy, and mastery. Once you get all those 5, you get true drive. I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that, because I'm going to explain to you exactly like the curiosity part, the purpose, the passion, purpose, autonomy, and mastery. All those things where it allows you to see the right way. Like it opens your eyes to, okay, I need to do this to be able to be very motivated and to almost not need really motivation, especially exterior motivation, but intrinsic motivation is always constant, right? Because you have curiosity, passion, purpose, autonomy, and mastery. This is how it happens. So curiosity is where it all begins. And you need to be curious about something. So he tells you about, like, to apply this, you need to be curious, because curiosity is what will drive you all along the way. I don't remember exactly how he says it. It's like, up. This is your basic interest in something, right? Neurochemically underpinned by a little bit of norepinephrine and dopamine. So curiosity gives you, like, you have some dopamine in chasing something new that you like. You have some inherent interest in it. So, for example, it could be that you're interested in football, right? But you need to be more precise. You can't use large curiosity. You need to be precise. Okay, I like the defense part of football, right? I like there's one technique in football, because what we're going to try to do right now is make a list of everything that you're curious about, everything that interests you. So make this list. Maybe you can find this out with your YouTube videos that you watch, the podcasts that you listen to. Try to find some things that interest you and dig deeper. Okay, what interests you in that? For example, maybe in movies. I've talked about this maybe in some kind of branding podcast before. It's like, what did you like when you were a kid? Okay, I liked roller skating. I like to, even skating. What did I like about this? Right? What is it about this that made me like it? That made me feel joyful, accelerated? What was it? To me, was one part of it was the speed, the feeling of the wind on my skin. Right? You see, okay, why did you like this? I liked it because it made me feel free. Okay. Now, what is one of my other interests? What I like other than that? I watched the movie, what is it called? Top Gun Maverick. And there are planes in it. And I love the part about the planes. I love the part when we see the plane take off, right? And I loved also other parts of the movies, of course, like a lot of people do. But something really interesting that was really interesting for me, forgive my English, was when they fly and we can see maybe the wind and I see the speed. And now you see there's intersection. This is the intersection. By going precise in what did you like about this thing that inherently interests you, I was able to see an intersection. Speed, freedom, the feeling of the wind on your skin, the feeling of going fast. I like those things. Maybe I like something else. Okay, I like making more money. I like going in business. Why is this? Because I like the options that comes with a lot of money. Why? Because I like the freedom. And then boom, freedom. This is one of my core values. This is one of the things I'm passionate about. And then you enter phase 2. So you are curious about some things. You make a list, big list about everything that interests you. Then you see intersections between the things because you dig deep, right? You write down precise things, not just general. I like movies. No, what kind of movies? Okay, what did you like about this kind of movie? How does that make you feel? Then you see intersections, and once you see those intersections, okay, you can dig in them, and it creates your passion, because this is a passion recipe. Over the course of this chapter, of the passion recipe chapter, we're going to start stacking intrinsic drivers. Intrinsic drivers is like things that you're inherently interested in, right? But some specific things. And you learn to cultivate curiosity, and you amplify it into passion and transform the results into purpose. And so now, okay, I'm passionate about freedom. You want to transform that into a purpose. Now, how do you do that? A purpose is something that is useful for a bigger cause, for all human beings, for the evolution, because nature in general, like the world, optimizes for evolution, for survival and evolution. And people will rally, will go on a mission with you if it serves the world, not only you. If it serves also other people, then it becomes a mission, a purpose. That's really like the mission. To me, my mission, I discovered that it was inspiring, motivating, and educating the world. Because myself, I had a curiosity about courses. I love courses. I love to learn. Why? Again, it was because learning allowed me more options. Options allowed me more freedom. So internally, I want to educate the world to allow them to become free. Right? If I educate them, if I inspire and motivate them to be educated, I help them get to the freedom that I'm so passionate about. I'm curious about something that makes me feel free, right? I discover, okay, I'm really passionate about freedom. And then freedom becomes my mission, helping other people become free, become truly free and successful. Because to me, it's like, okay, we're not in prison anymore. Because I felt a lot in a prison when I was a kid. And so this way you get your purpose. So right now you got 3, right? And you please try to actually do this exercise. Even if you have already like a great successful company, it will help you be even more. It will help you make it very precise, tangible, and make you more driven. After that, so he tells you, okay, you hunt for intersections to find your passion, and then you transform it into, by playing in the intersections, you find your passion, and you can also go public with it. So once you know a little bit about your passion, right, you like freedom, you can talk about it, right? It just amplifies, it gives you more dopamine. It's always like, the book is really like talking to you about neurobiology, how like you get dopamine at this moment. Okay, and by the way, I'll tell you right now, even though I'll tell you later, because it's something that you should or should not do considering your goals. You transformed your passion into purpose. And then he tells you how to put purpose into practice. So basically just like, okay, you put what you're passionate about and you see, okay, how could this serve the world, right? How could this serve as many people as possible? Your big mission statement for the world. Something like, it's almost not really tangible, right? It's more like, I want to inspire, motivate, and educate the world. That's me. And my company is like to make it easy, convenient, and extremely profitable for experts to educate the world, to educate everyone, right? This is what we want as a company. And so this helps you as well for your company. Then for the full intrinsic stack, you need curiosity, passion, purpose. It's like your launching pad toward the impossible. But it's impossible in the long game to win if you're just interested in that. You need more. This is what he tells you. I'm kind of reading at the same time. You need to add to those 3 things: curiosity, passion, purpose. I'm repeating a lot so that you remember them. And you add to them autonomy and mastery. So, autonomy is the desire for the freedom required to pursue your passion and purpose. So, if you're not autonomous, like if you don't have the autonomy to do what you want, what you're intrinsically like curious about, passionate about, and what is your purpose, if you don't have the autonomy to do that, you lack something to actually achieve the impossible. You lack the one of the stack to actually be driven, because you don't feel like we have a need to be like, I feel like at least the need to be free, and I bet most of people watching this right now feel the same need. You feel the same way. And so this is why he tells you in this book that there's a 20% time, and this is the 20% times of Google. In their company, Google, they allow 20% of the time of their employees to be completely free of any restrictions. They just work about whatever they're passionate about. And guess what? Those 20% gave Google the 80% of the results. They created, those 20% created Gmail, Google Maps, Google News, Google Earth, Gmail Labs, AdSense, from those 20% time of freedom, because people were free trying to chase their purpose inside the company, and so they just created insane things. That's how useful it is. So it tells you, if you're an employee right now and you don't have the time that you want, you can just have 20% of your time in the week. I think he said like it was like an afternoon, right? Like 4 hours, even divided in two sets of 2 hours, it was okay. And so you work on what you're curious about, what you're passionate about, what is your purpose on those hours, and you can create tremendous things for yourself. But you need to allow yourself the autonomy. After that comes mastery. And mastery is kind of like competence. And I'll tell you exactly what I wrote down, because I took some notes on this. And so here they are. We need curiosity, passion, purpose, and the autonomy of when we work. This is important. The moment to when you work, that was important. This is why Patagonia, the company Patagonia, allows people whenever they want, even when they're on shift, if the time is good to go surfing, because the company is located aside of some what is it called? I forgot the word. Like there's some beach, right? And so Patagonia's other rule is the freedom to surf, to provide additional benefits. So when you go surfing, this is an activity like surfing. He tells you that it is an activity that allows you more to get into the state of flow. So it was very rewarding for the company, not only for the morale, for the mental health of their employees, but also about like the freedom. The Patagonia founder, Ivan Chouinard, famously dubbed, "Let my people go surfing." That's what he said. Let my people go surfing. And so whatever they wanted, they had 1 hour to go surfing and come back, right? I think there was something like this, right? Because they had the autonomy, they produced better work, and they were happier, right? And so this is like, they had also 15% of their time, I think, I think they had complete freedom. Yeah, this is what it was. They had complete freedom of their schedules. So they had total autonomy. They had to work full-time shifts, but complete autonomy. They work whenever they want. Now, of course, this is not possible for every work, I guess, but for most people, like, this freedom gives you more, like, allows you more to sleep better. This is what it tells you. It allows you to sleep better and to eat whenever you want, to sleep whenever you want. And when you do that, you are healthier, actually. And you feel like you're playing your own game. And so this is what entrepreneurship is so, like, this is why it's so sexy. Like, you're playing for yourself. You're choosing. You have the freedom to choose. You have the freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want to. Now, you can work whenever you want to. It's like still a pretty good level of freedom. And so after that, we have a need for mastery. So once you're curious about something, you're passionate about something, you have a purpose, you get your autonomy, right? At least 20% of the time in autonomy, you need mastery. And mastery is the desire to be competent, to progress toward your goals, to progress toward your, like, the skills, to become better, to make incremental progress toward it. And this is what he tells you. When we work hard toward an important goal, that is when we pursue mastery, dopamine levels spike. But the real victory is a series of these spikes, day after day, day after day. Emotionally, the series feels like momentum, which many peak performers describe as their favorite sensation. The single biggest motivator, explains author Dan Pink in Drive, the book Drive. He tells you the single biggest motivator is making progress in meaningful work. So it's something that is your purpose. Because if it's your purpose, if you're passionate about it, if you're curious about it, it's meaningful. And of course, the opposite is also true. When progress is missing, the cost is steep. The sensation of being stuck in the mud, wheels spinning and not getting anywhere, is the single largest drain on motivation that scientists have discovered. If momentum is a peak performance favorite feeling, then the lack of momentum is their least favorite. Yet it's almost impossible to talk about mastery, momentum, and why this driver may be our single biggest motivator without discussing flow. And so, even though I'm running a bit late, we'll talk about the flow triggers. The flow triggers are let me find the right section. The flow triggers is just when you have all of those parts in them together. You have curiosity, passion, purpose. Exactly. Trying to repeat with me. Curiosity, passion, purpose, autonomy, mastery, momentum, growing towards something. And the flow triggers is when you can make, when you get a little bit of challenge in your work, and you know you can still do it. At this time, you're completely focused on the thing, and you kind of forget about time. Time passes a little weird. It's you don't see the time passing by. It's pretty going pretty slowly, pretty fast, and you're fully focused. You don't think about anything else. You have complete focus on the now and exactly now. We just don't care about anything else, just the task that is in front of us. And this flow state is really easily achievable. In his example is it's in skiing. When he skis, he has the curiosity, passion about skiing. He has the purpose because he wants to, I don't remember why he had that, but when he goes about skiing, just the sensation of skiing, like me when I was roller skating when I was a kid, just the sensation made me feel good. It gave me dopamine. And when you do more of this, it gives you more dopamine. Now, all you need to do is increase a little bit of the difficulty. You add more curiosity. You go into a new place. You try a new level of skiing, right? A new environment. You try to do beat a record that is slightly above yours, because it seems achievable. And this is what he tells you about goals. Goal setting, by the way, I'll get into it right now because I think it's very useful as well. Goals, because the flow is basically that. You have curiosity. You have you do something. It gives you dopamine because you're curious about it and you like it. And then when you do this, it add again another series of dopamine, you like it again. And so this creates a positive loop on this action. And if you haven't seen my mindset training, maybe it's still free on my YouTube channel. I think it's part 12. Mindset training, very, very useful. I'll tell you about the loop, the feedback loop. Insanely, I think the video is named How to Become Unstoppable. And there's an image of David Goggins and Tom Bellew, I think, on the thumbnail, at least at the moment I'm speaking to you. And so after that, there's goal setting 101. He tells you that there's, I think, 3 main types of goals. The first one, it's not really a goal, it's your I'll get this exactly right for you so that I don't mess it up. So there's your purpose is, he calls this something specific. Massively transformative purpose. I haven't got it in front of me, but I just remembered it. That's what it is. A massively transformative purpose. This is your purpose, like we just talked about before. Something that really helps the world. This is your mission in life. Okay, you got this. I want to inspire, motivate, and educate the world. After that, you need a high, hard goal. HJGJJ. HHG. Forgive me. And high hard goals are like stepping stones toward achieving that big goal. So for example, getting a degree, right? Obtaining a certain promotion, big promotion in work, getting to a $1 million company, like a big level, right, of achievement. This is a high, hard goal. And then after that, this one, you can have multiple ones, right? You have one massively transformative purpose, so one that is like above all. Then you have multiple, maybe 1 or 3 big goals. And then you have clear goals. And those clear goals are just basically to-do lists. Simple to-do lists of what you got to do. And he tells you that the best moment to do this, to set those clear goals, is the night before, just like I do every day. The night before, I know exactly what I did, what I didn't do, and so I know exactly what I need to do next. And so I write my to-do list, basically. With most of the time, I just write 3 main clear goals. And so those clear goals like can be do 20 push-ups tomorrow at this time, right? This is a goal. This is a clear goal. It has to be clear. You can't say, okay, have a bigger chest, right? Have bigger muscles. This is like increase your muscle mass tomorrow. You can't say that, right? Do 20 push-ups tomorrow. That's the goal. That's a clear goal that allows you to get to your big goal, which your big goal can be attaining a 90 pounds body weight with sharp abs, right? This can be your big goal, and your massively transformative purpose can be inspiring people by this great physique. That's an example. Take this example and try to apply it to yourself. I hope this podcast really serves you to actually apply it. Because if you don't apply it, which I didn't really do yet, I did it a little bit, not completely. And yeah, after that, he tells you that the only thing that you need is the grit to persevere. Because you're going to face a lot of moments that you don't want to do it. A lot of struggles. A lot, especially if you're an entrepreneur. If you have a company, you know that already. You just like have a lot of challenges. And with those challenges, you need to persevere. And with no pressure, there's no diamonds. This is a quote of his book. And I haven't read this part yet, but like you need different types of grit. And maybe I'll tell you about it in the next podcast. So if you want to know about this, stay tuned, subscribe on this podcast, and share the show if you got some value. I bet you did. And I'll see you on the other podcast. Take care.